Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. In today's 101.5 lesson, I am super excited to try a couple of new things with you. And this lesson is for you if you like to cut circles out of your paper and then you don't know what to do with the paper once it's done. We're going to talk about that today. So let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, this is my workspace for today. And I thought it would be fun to talk about kind of what to do with scraps. And that may seem like a weird thing to say, given what I have on my desktop here. But you may recall when I started my Ireland scrapbooks, and I made those rainbows for the cover pages and to mark each of the days of the vacation. I used shimmer paper to make those rainbows with, and I used my CM circle cutter to make all the different sized circles to create those rainbows with. And these are the scraps that I had left. These are the pieces of paper I took those circles from. And I've been holding on to them this whole time because I've been thinking there's got to be something I could do with those. There must be something I could do with those. And one day I had them all stacked up and I thought to myself, wow, that's really pretty. Wouldn't that make a cool background for a page? Ta-da! Light bulb moment, right? Such a cool idea, and uses up these awkward circle scraps that I'm sure you have. If you ever cut circles for anything, you will end up with awkward circle papers. Okay, so the key when you are making your circle cuts for a design that you're creating is to make your circles in such a way that you can utilize that paper for something else when you're done. Quite literally, all these are the different layers of the different colored circles that I cut, as you can see. And any number of these together would make a very cool layout. Now, granted, your page is going to be fairly heavy because you've got lots of layers of paper here. So it might be, in your best interest, if you like the look of all the colors together, to then come back in with your circle cutter and cut around that. I would adhere it to itself first. Use your repositionable adhesive and adhere it down first before you go ahead and cut that shape out. But wouldn't that make a neat, even if I stuck a photo in here and used it as a mat, I think it would be just the coolest thing. Great for any kind of photos, like if you have a child that is just, agog over the stars and planets and studying astronomy and those kinds of things. Wouldn't these be great? Or even someone who played with marbles a lot. I know you don't find people that do that very much anymore, but when we lived in Kansas, there was actually a company that made marbles, and we got to go with the scouts and see how those marbles were made. What a cool way to exemplify that if you did something like this for a page like that. Wouldn't that be neat? So I just wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to show you a couple of them that I have that may end up in my scrapbooks at some point in time. This is a larger one and larger circles, and so you can see that it sometimes it's just a little bit, sometimes it's just a little touch, sometimes it's more than just a little touch. Wouldn't that be pretty on something? I just think it would be so nice. You could turn it. You could do it this way. It would make a neat moon shape. So speaking of the moon, what I did to make these two, because I literally just cut these two because I had some larger ones And I think I got frustrated because I didn't really have a good place to store them, and so I think I tossed them somewhere along the line. But these two, I'm going to keep that white thing underneath just to differentiate my green paper from my matte. So these two are made with a 10-inch circle. So you would take your circle maker and you would set your line right on the 10-inch mark. Okay, and then what I did was I scooted it so that I knew it was going to cut within about 1/2 inch of the very edge. I stacked my papers together first, and then I cut them both the same. So you can see when I go like this. Sorry, my voice is a little froggy today. I don't know what's up with that. But when I go like this, you can easily see that I had my papers stacked together. I cut them at the very same time, both pieces together. And then what I plan to do is flip this one, or flip the other one. Maybe, I think it was this way. So, so that this one is closest to the lower border and the right side, and this one is closest to the upper border and the left side. Let me get this more in frame. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to add a piece of designer paper to accent this and bring the two together. But if you were doing a single page layout, I would not hesitate to layer these like this. 2 papers is not going to be a lot. You could layer these just like this, and then you get the effect of both colors. You could turn it over and then have the accent be the darker color. There's just so many different things that you could do with this. So I just thought I would suggest it to you. And I was thinking I would do the layout that I'm going to use this for in my next, but this video is so short, maybe we'll just go ahead and do it in this video. Alright, so 10-inch circles, cut, here they are right here. I just stacked the papers and cut a 10-inch circle. Alright, let me show you what I'm going to do. And then I'll come up with something else for Wednesday. It'll be fine. So I have this one piece of designer paper, and this comes from the Grand Times collection. That was a collection that we got from one of the secret boxes last year. And I loved it because it exemplified, or a lot of the embellishments that are in it are very old-timey and very just very cool. And the pictures that we are going to be looking at today are some of them are of a stable where some old methods of transportation were stored on the Blarney Castle grounds. So I wanted to use some of those embellishments. We'll see if we get to those embellishments or not. But I pulled out this plaid paper and I thought it would be cool. Okay, so I'm cutting this at 5 5/8 of an inch. You'll see why here in just a second. Okay, so 5 5/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to cut it at the same length. And that's a little bit tricky to determine here, but basically you come to that very itty bitty tiny little tick mark on the arm right there, and that is 5 5/8 of an inch. Now by cutting it at that precise place, you'll see that now I have plaids that match, or they're pretty dadgum close to matching. You see that? Which is what I was trying to achieve. Okay, so we've got those two pieces. Those are going to span across the center of my page. I have this cool little article that actually came from the map of Blarney Castle. You've seen me use those before. I'm just going to trim this up so that it's a little bit more manageable size, and then we can mat it hopefully this won't take too long for a 101.5 lesson, but I just want to show you kind of how this is going to come together. I've got a couple of packets of seeds for flowers and for shamrocks. I also took a picture of that just in case I didn't want to put these in my book, but I think I'm going to just put these in my book. If I ever want to use the seeds that are in here, I can always open up the envelopes and put the envelopes back, because I'm going to put them in a thing I can slide them in and out from. All right. Let me just show you the rest of these pictures and talk about them really quick, because what I may do is just go ahead and assemble the base, and then you can check this layout out on the flip through. But so here's Emily. Remember, she was in a wheelchair. We were pushing her around, and this is the picture of us pushing her down the pathway. But this was I'm not sure what they used this building for, but this was sort of near the castle, not too far away from the castle. And on the other side of this building, just before we got to this point, there was a gate that led into this courtyard here. And when you walked into this courtyard, it's hard to see in this picture, but all along here are all kinds of old methods of transportation, wheels and carriages and all kinds of things that are stored underneath that. I think this is what they called a carriage house. And so this is where the drivers would live, presumably, and the carriages that they would maintain were stored right below them. So just kind of a cool addition to our book. So first of all, this is the page we did last time, the right side of the page we did last time. I'm going to take this one piece of paper that I have, that I cut into 5 5/8 inch by 12 pieces, putting adhesive on the back. I love this tone-on-tone dotted Swiss. Really, really nice. Done in these greens. Very pretty. Okay, we're just going to put this right down the center, but going horizontally. So if you need to, you can always place your page on your mat, so you can measure and know exactly where the middle is going to be. Just like that. And then you can come in here and let's see, the middle is at my 23-inch line. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to look 3 inches in either direction and just visually line that up between the markers and call that good. Okay, so like that. Now this one, to enable me to make sure that they're in the same place, and knowing that my page is now upside down, I'm going to use that as a sample so that I can line this page up, or line this border up. Okay, so just like that. So then when I pull this around, my plaid meets in the middle and has a continuous pattern. Okay, then I'm going to take these two circles and I think what I'm going to do with this, that's kind of a different layout that I hadn't really considered. Alright, see, you can play all day with flipping your paper all different directions and trying to figure out how you want to do it. This one I'm going to do a way that we haven't even talked about. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to line up my corners I'm going to grab some repositionable adhesive. I'm going to put it in all the major corners so that it's going to stay in place. And then I can lift it up later and get it more securely put down. But this is going to be my anchors for those corners. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just take a little pencil and my zero centering ruler. I'm going to line this up on the main measure line on my mat. Okay, so I have a bold line that comes down here through the middle. So this point and this point are on that line, and I'm going to use my ruler to make sure that where I'm marking is sufficient. And mainly I'm just marking that inside point because the outside point is already marked by the corner. Okay, so lining up my ruler again, and here is the point I need to line up with the corner. All right, then I'm going to try my guillotine trimmer because I don't want to use the other ones. This isn't going to fit cutting it this way in the other trimmers. And this is not going to fit going down, like it's not going to be super smooth either. So I'm just trying this. Go walk with me, okay? All right, so we're going to try. I don't know if that's going to stay. It's probably going to shift. But I want it to stay, so stay. I'm going to try cutting it this way. Okay, pretty close. It's a little bit not very clean, but now I can stick this in here and I can clean that up a little. Let's clean it up even a little more than that. Because it kind of bent and tore the paper, which I want a clean edge if I can get. Okay, that looks good. This looks okay on this side and okay on that side, but I may need to make some adjustments. Okay, now for the second one, we can probably move this, play with this, right? Bring it through. We're going to line up the point down here with the line up here, and then we can cut it, make that a nice clean line. Okay, now let me show you what that's going to let us do. Hang on, I have to clean up my workspace. Get those little tiny hairy pieces of paper off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is come in here with my repositionable adhesive so that I can get all the way in the corner. Okay, and this one is going to go down in the lower right corner. And up that side. So we can see that both colors, the brown and the green. This side we're going to flip over. So just let me get some adhesive on this one. This one will go in this corner up here. All right, and then I can decorate around the arch. I can add some flowers around the arch or do something fun to decorate that, and I can place my photos, arrange my photos in the middle. So check back with me on Wednesday and I will have put my photos on this page and I can share with you what I did. But in the meantime, I hope you'll have some fun with some of the circle cuts that you still have kind of just laying around. Also, another quick tip, when you have these 12 by 12 pieces of paper that you have cut circles out of, and you really don't know what you're going to do with them, but you need to store them somehow, these pieces right here, or even the large circles that you've cut out of the middle, use a 12 by 12 iris case. Make sure it's 12, or it doesn't have to be iris, but you know what I mean. Those plastic boxes that have the lids on the hinges, they work great for keeping these from getting all bent up and ruined. And you always know where to go when you're looking for some kind of circle scrap to liven up your page. Because isn't this cute like this? I just think it's really a cool design feature. And I hope this has been helpful and inspiring for you today in this 101.5 lesson. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Take care now. Enjoy your day.